Hello, day 21, no corn, no wheat. So I'm feeling pretty good. Uh, I would say that I've went from a constant 9-10 in pain with the leg. I mean, fibromyalgia goes up and down. It could be like a 9 one day and then a 5 the next. Sometimes you could maybe whisper out a 4. But yeah, I feel a lot better. I think even my skin looks better. I know my hands have actually shown some improvement. I mean, they they were looking a little gnarled. So just because the pain gets so bad in your hand that like they still fall asleep, I noticed, but not as often. However, I haven't been riding my e-bike lately. So not riding the e-bike can make a big difference. That means like when I'm going distances, I find that my hands, like I'm shaking my hands, even if I have my hands on the wheel for a while, which I did this week because I took my car to Red Deer to sell it. And the fellow was coming up from Edmonton, so I just figured, I enjoy a drive. So I got Craig to come with me, and he's not in a very good mood lately, but anyway, I had fun as much as I could. I got my dogs with me. I took Finn and Socks. It was so nice to take them both with me, and I wish they were here right now, but it turned out, I woke up at 5 a.m. I just want to try to wake up earlier so I can get more done because I find that I kind of go back into the same old pain groove, even though the pain is dissipated quite a bit. I'll go back into that feeling like I'm waiting for the pain to come, and I don't want to do the same motions when the pain's not coming. So instead, I'll just say to myself, I feel so strong today. I feel so strong. And yeah, so that's really important to me to be able to have that. And then I also, just having my morning tea. Oh, I love this tea. It's so good. Anyhow, the tea is turmeric and cinnamon. I love it. It's by 4 o'clock. So I don't know if you've ever had it, but if you haven't, you have to try it. It is so good. And I feel good lately. I started doing Qigong and I really enjoy that. So I've been straight with that every day. I might have missed a morning because I try to do it in the morning and night. But when I woke up at 5, I brush my teeth and go to the bathroom, and then I decided that instead of getting back into bed and then getting up, I would just go into the Qigong. And recently I had my carpet taken out so that I could have it cleaned. And so it's been dropped off, and I'm just waiting. Or I'm not waiting because I actually have a beautiful floor. It's all wood, and I love it. So I don't know if I'm going to cover it up again with a carpet. I might put the carpet downstairs. I don't know. We'll see. It's just nice to have a difference sometimes, but I don't want the cats to wreck it either. So that can be a problem sometimes. The cats. I have this one cat that just loves to chew up my carpets with her claws, so I'd have to put like little caps on her claws in order to stop her, and I just don't have the time for that because I've got 4 cats and a few dogs, and yeah, animals I have that I'd prefer to spend time with, like my horses, and I have a sheep and goat. So I have 2 sheep and 1 goat. I have 2 goats, but they're promised to somebody else, so I don't really count them in. I have a neighbor who's been wanting them for a while, so I just figured that it's hard for me to keep up with the flock, and I've got this beautiful little goat that kind of was raised like a dog. So he comes out with me during the day, and the others just stay in, and I think they'd just be happier if they had more attention than they're getting, even though they've gotten quite a bit. And yesterday, they all the goats and everything, they all got their deworming, so I was really happy about that. And all the horses got their deworming, the dogs, the cats, and the birds get it as well, but more consistently than the rest of the animals. So we also have a dog who has a really bad ear issue, and they're actually coming back to give him a shot of something that actually takes the pain away for, they said up to 12 months that it would help him with this infection. So we'll see what happens. I've never used it before. I've tried everything else, and it just seems like it's almost impossible to give a dog that's in a pack the individual attention that it needs, especially when it won't come inside. Like, it's an outside dog. We don't really want it inside, but it's, and it does have its own indoor heated area. But it's still, it's like the pack, gets a certain type of food and they get a certain type of treat. So if he was a lone dog and it was our only dog, then we'd probably be able to do that. But the vet suggested this, so I can't remember what it's called. I will find out more information. But yeah, it looks like it's a little bit more hopeful than watching him go through pain every day, like me. So I hope to ride my horses soon, and I know people are like, what do you do with your horses? Are you competitive? I was raised with horses, and they've been such a huge part of my life that no matter what, I knew that one day I would have a horse ranch again. And like I did when I was growing up. And it's not any kind of a ranch where we do anything with them. My dad just wanted us kids to experience that. And we ended up with some of the best horses in the world, we always said. I think they liked us anyway, and we loved them so much. But I got horses now. So now, not now, but they're 17 this year, I believe. So they're quite old, but they're really beautiful quarter horses. One's a paint. The other one is his brother from another mother. They're both born from a stallion paint, and their mother was like a roan kind of color, I think. Can't remember. I think, anyway, reverse buckskin maybe. But so I actually green started one of the mothers from my two horses, and I wanted to have her. She just was a really, really good girl, but I missed out on her, and then they ended up having two from the stallion for, two different mares, of course, and so I decided to adopt. I said I'd adopt one, and then somebody's like, you might as well take two. So I did, and yeah, I kind of missed out in the beginning years of training with them, unfortunately, but just the way that the circumstances went. They weren't till around 5-ish before I got to really work with them, and at that time I was in full-blown pain. I couldn't barely walk anywhere, but I'd still get on Crookshank. Charlie I never rode. He just never really seemed to warm up to me too quickly, and it made me nervous because I had a really bad fall when I was 16, so quite long after we'd sold our own horses. I was still riding, but I just got a really bad horse. So long story short, I'm sure that was the start of fibromyalgia. I mean, the fact that I was raised in a household where they didn't really want me there, so it was pretty traumatic trying to figure out where I fit into this world when my own family didn't want me. And I guess I recognized it at a very young age, because I did always used to say to my sister that I was dropped off with the wrong family, and my family is coming to pick me up. So maybe it was something I made up in myself just to feel loved, and that I do have a family that loves me. I was very much the child that, one sec. Oh my God, that is so good. I was very much the child that stayed quiet because, I knew that my parents didn't want me around. It was so funny because if you look at the picture book, you see The firstborn spread all over it. The secondborn actually passed away. It was a stillborn female. I think her name was Allison, and she was dead in my mother's belly. And then my sister, Brenda, she was next, and you see lots of pictures of Brenda. And then I came along, and it just kind of dries up. Like, they said that I was a surprise and they didn't expect me, and yeah, so I used to try to be proud of that, but then I realized that they were trying to tell me something, and they told me clearly when I had that terrible accident on the horse at 16, and that was the year my sister died, and in the fall of that year, I took that fall, and that horse just threw me into a pile of rocks. He was going very fast, and I was trying to turn his head so that I could get the bit back in his mouth, and he just whipped his head the other way, and I went that way, and I fell into a pile of rocks, not on my head, but on my butt, right on my butt, on the back. And when I got dropped off at home after the incident, I was really upset, and my parents just completely ignored me. Didn't take me to the hospital or anything. My dad did go and try to give the guy that was doing the rental horse thing crap for giving such a no. He probably knew this horse was like that, and the guy said, well, she was cursing at me, and so my dad got back in the truck and told me that he's not going to bother with him and that I shouldn't have cursed at the guy, but he never took me to the hospital. Yeah, but it doesn't matter. That was the pinnacle moment when I finally had to admit to myself, even though I already knew it, I had to admit that there was no love there. My parents did not care about me, so that's okay. My mother was bipolar and diagnosed bipolar, and she tried to hide it all the time, but later on in life she said that I was lying and that she was never diagnosed, but she told me like the day or within a week after she was diagnosed. But being that she drank a lot of booze all the time, she was probably not too aware of what she was saying sometimes. And sometimes people that hide the most come out with the truth when they least expect it. They probably don't even remember. Yeah, because of all of that, I was a very sensitive person at a very, very young age, and I had a few very interesting experiences with the inner world. And I know some of you call them spiritual and on and on. I want to just say that there were experiences that didn't include the physical realm. And some of those experiences also happened to my sister. And then when I had my second child, I actually went into Blue Code. So I do remember a few things from that experience, but mostly an experience I had when I was about 17 or 18 in that vicinity. And I was kind of at the end of life, of what I wanted to be in life. My sister had died. My best friend had died a year later, very close. We were very close and knew each other since we were 3. And so I was thinking maybe I should just check out. Maybe it was meant to be that I wasn't here. And I actually had a really interesting experience. I don't know if my future self visited me to explain to me how much I have to stay, and there's a lot that was needed in order for, there was just something needed for me to stay, and that it would be a bad idea because there was lots I had to do yet in this life. So it was really funny, a really funny experience. I kind of blocked out the experience for years and years, and then I finally regained my consciousness, and I realized in that I was missing one of the most important parts, and that was when Higher Self told me that I would have a child that was born I think that was crooked. Maybe they used the word gimped or crooked or something like that. And I had a hard time understanding, what that might look like, but I was given an impression of it, and it really worried me. I wasn't sure that I was the person for that task, but they're like, well, you had to, you have to have this child. And I was thinking, I'll do everything to live my life, but I don't know how I'm going to deal with a child that is broken or crooked. I wasn't sure what it would look like at that time. I wasn't sure what word or what term to even use. But I knew it was very serious. And here I am, many, many years later. And I do have a child who has a rare form of dwarfism. And I don't think I ever said or looked at him since the moment that he was born and said that he was broken. I know I did not like the look of the doctor's face when she came in to tell me that there was something seriously wrong after he was born. And she kept saying in his hips and stuff, but I just kept loving him from the moment that I saw him. And I completely forgot about my dream. It wasn't really a dream, actually. It happened when I was awake. I was just kind of like transported somewhere else, or yeah, because whatever. But anyway, he was the one that really helped me open myself to love, and I never looked at him in any other way but through the eyes of love. And to this day, I don't know, I think he's a very important person in my life, and I don't think I'd be part of the person that I am if I didn't get to know him. So thank you, Ethan, if you ever watch this. You were the love of my life when you were born, and you still are. So, I remember I had to take you to the hospital a few months later because your back was starting to show signs of, you had this bump coming up in the back, and I had to go find out what it was, and they kind of kept us in there for a while. So if you're all watching this one day, I have to say that I'll never forget these times that we spent together, and you didn't know what was going on, and you probably don't remember, but I stayed there and I protected you all through everything. And you don't owe me anything. I'm just saying that I got to know you very, very well as a mother and a son. And with Avery, the same was true, except for his birth, I got sick, and I was the one who had to stay in the hospital after. So that was another story I'll tell you another time. But both of my boys have become integral parts in my life, and they always were. They were always so super important to me. I never thought that I had the capability of bringing a life into the world like that, and I am just so blessed. Even though people might look at me and say, oh, poor Donna. No, don't ever say that. I am very blessed. And sure, I have a lot of bad things happen to me. I mean, I live with a hoarder, so if you know anything about that, just know it's very, very difficult. And they're not just hoarders in just keeping stuff, they're hoarders in personality, so that things actually mean more to them than humans. So if you can imagine that, what that would be like. Don't feel sorry for me. I don't need your pity. That's where I am at right now, and until things change, that's where I'll be. So yeah, so I got up really early this morning, and I'm devoted to get up earlier every day so that I can be outside, let the ducks out. I want them to have the morning sun until they get their new pen built, and maybe I'll take you for a ride on that. I want to get a new camera that I can actually attach to my forehead. I think I mentioned that. So that will make it a lot easier to do some of these vlogs or whatever, you know, showing you different things about what I do around here. Man, we're already at 20 minutes. I just wanted to get to the doctor part. It went quite well. She's got me a requisition for blood. I haven't done my blood since 2021, so I am curious. Also, I've got a prescription for LDN, low dose naltrexone. So it's a dose of about 5 milligrams per tablet, and they come in a capsule. I'm just going to start out with 10 and see how it goes, and then I can get the prescription refilled another time. Low dose naltrexone, you can look it up on the LDN Trust site, and that it gives you everything that this drug can help with. But I gotta run, and I will get back to you guys very soon. Have a really nice weekend, and I know it's only Wednesday, but coming up to the weekend soon. So get all those things done that you haven't been able to get done during the week, or go for a hike. It's going to be raining here all weekend, so I'm sure that I won't be going for any hikes, long hikes anyway. Peace out.